work. We for we, like the emoticons, the ofemanu weather. No, if I suppose, you know. Ekugom maki kuzi history, Igbo history, and Nigerian history. Now all the universities in the southeast. Then ekugom sports. Ani welike bido Aladinmma football team. Abroad also nation states na register na FIFA. We can go and register Aladinmma in FIFA. And Yababa will our stars. We say we can't win the World Cup. We can begin to explore that with FIFA. Aya choto mwaka banye na agba ball ofuma. Ka no nwanko na Samoto no were. Na eba na agba ball ka onye ocha nenene football na from bedroom bedroom here na Concord Hotel. Follow the ace footballer where sport anya from where and Webule for buta. So Okochafa, we can reassemble them. There are still a lot of them walking the streets. If we go maka the establishment of the House of Chiefs, if we go that we can return the we can reform the Eastern Nigeria Development Corporation under Michael Okpara. We can resuscitate it under the Forum of the Southeast. If any na be fine when you meant that and they do this Eastern Nigeria Development Corporation, a major base of local governments, we can transcend all the Igbo no outside the Southeast, 300 villages and 2 local governments in Benue State that are divided the Izi people of Ebonyi.
Madam.
Yes?
Madam Ambassador, please, we would like for you to round up in the next 5 minutes.
Okay. And then the villages in the rivers and the delta, it will take these sub-national structures. It will keep focusing. If also in a dearth of infrastructure, if we allow to develop, we can build our own seaports. Or access to the sea. I will seaports. Opobo and Ubele are less than 16 nautical miles. The Imo River is the only river without a tributary in West Africa, and it flows directly to the Atlantic. All these rivers can be dredged. So when I say na I gotta introduce polygamy, Christianity get because na we have a dearth of Igbo males who will rear them. Can if only take one you to him at least 16 to 20 years? And how old are we? How old is our generation? Now again, we generational gap. No next time already the rate at which Umakamaya Bufa, because now they record many of the genocide that they went buying. Again, we're very serious generational gap. So I got to go here. Let me conclude by just reading out the words of Maria Curie. In conclusion, the dictum of the late Kwame Nkrumah and acclaimed scientist Maria Curie come readily to mind, that man possesses in his hands the power to abolish all forms of misery and degradation. Life is not easy for any of us, but what of that? We must have perseverance and above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing, at whatever cost, must be attained. If we accept this dictum, then it follows that something can be done and must be done. Relying on our political will and the spiritual force of our God, our sheer resilience and all fronts, and from our ancestors, we will achieve and we will get there. Alone. I hope I have not wasted your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time with us. And please, we're going to ask questions and we'll make comments. And we heard what, in summary, we heard what our mother said. He said that she's not seeing any viable future for Ndibo in that contraption called Nigeria. She, however, identified that some people are doing self-determination and being championed by our brother, Tony Nnadi, a lawyer and a jurist, well educated. And then we have some people, some pro-Biafra groups, IPOB, one of them, being led by Nnamdi Kanu. And then, but she identified that due to some, she called ego problem, that people are not coming together. And then she advised that it would be better for us to work together. Like we said at the beginning of this conference, we said, Akpa Ofuma Alarunute and Akpa Ofuma Alarunana. So she's advising, we have a lot of ideas and a lot of programs, a lot of things which she suggested should be taken care of. However, we have to secure our land first before we begin to implement some of those things, because we need safety for us to do what we need to do. So please, we want to begin to take questions and comments and from our people. The rule for this session is the speaker will, for any question, please, or comments, it's going to be 2 minutes or less. And then the speaker, please, you take maybe 5 minutes or less to respond to the questions. So we will begin let's see, the first question that will take. Someone, am I able to?
Yes, let me, Ifoma Wadike is already on.
Okay,
so
please.
Ifoma, go ahead and ask your question or mute yourself.
Okay.
Can you turn your video on? Do you mind?
Where I am now, I'm not dressed for the video. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But before we wrap up, I just came back from work. I'm trying to put myself together. So I want to thank you guys immensely once again for this opportunity for us to talk as a family. I want to thank the organizers of this program, because it is high time we know what we want as the Igbo family. You know, I read Eze Goes to School when I was younger, and I knew the strength of the Igbo nation. And from all indication, and ihe kamsuo Igbo maka ona de mo nwere ihe na adi mma ekwuo ya n'Igbo. Ihe m hụrụ ndị nna nna anyị ha hiwere anyị wee gbebere ugobere nke si ibe ya ebe na nkukwa ya. That egbebere ugobere, we are not on that path anymore. That spirit ndị nna nna anyị ha ji wee zọọ aja for nwanne wee lụye nwanne nwanyị. Ndị mama eweta ewu na ọkụkọ tụta ji na ede wee biwe ezinụlọ ọhụrụ. Hiwe ezinụlọ ọhụrụ. We lost that spirit already. You know, so ihe anyị na-ekwu ka anyị weghachite ịhụnanya na ịdị n'otu n'ala Igbo, were ofu olu na ofu obi wee na-ekwu okwu. Anyị ma na ihe na-agụ anyị iwu ka anyị nwere onwe anyị. Unu lee anya, ndị nna nna anyị ha alụọ n'ọgụ nwere onwe a n'oge gara aga. O rikwa na isi ndị niile o riri n'ala Igbo. Anyị alụwakwana ya n'oge nke anyị, ọ na-erikwa isi na-aga. So ịjụọ m, aga m asị na ọ bụ na anyị dọwa nke ụkwa dọwa ya, ọ dịka ọ na-aga ịdọrọ anyị, anyị azọwagodo onwe anyị. Ọ ihe eji wee nwee retreat, alụgide ọgụlụgide nwee retreat ka a ga-ahazi ofụma. Maka na ile anya, ihe anyị nidiri ugbu a bụ ihu n'Igbo presidency a na-akpọtụ ebe niile, ka anyị nye ya nkwado as one Igbo family, ka anyị chọgodo nke ahụ. Ike ahụ anyị jiri wee lụọ maka nnwere onwe, ka anyị werekwa tinye ivu nke karịrị akarị wee lụọ maka Igbo presidency, were ofu olu na ofu obi chọtụgodi nke ahụ. Ebe nke ọzọ anyị na-achọ ha achọbeghị inye anyị ya, ka anyị chọtụgoro nke ahụ. Ọ bụ na nke ahụ ka anyị wetara, anyị ewere gozie wee melite ala Igbo na level ọ ga-eme ihe mmekwa na anyị enye nwa onwe.
Madam, you only have 1 minute to complete. It's almost 5 minutes. Go ahead. 1 minute.
All right. Ihe mme anyị enwe ike nye nwa onwe anyị nne. Anyị enwe agriculture, nwee road, nwee social amenities na ihe ndị ọzọ, because e were n'ego Nigeria rụọ ugwu Hausa, rụọ ala Yoruba, onwebe nke anyị nwa ketere. So ka anyị kwado Igbo presidency, were ofu olu na ofu obi kwado ya, chọtụkwanụ nke ahụ. Enwere ike ọ bụrụ nke ahụ nke anyị ga-achọta. Ụfọdụ si ha gakwana, ha ga-echeta anyị, ha ga-agode ma ya bụrụ na echetaghị anyị ekwuwekwanụ nke ahụ. So ụmụ Igbo ekele na m ụnụ. Nwa m nwaanyị chọrọ ịjụ ajụjụ ma okwu ofu ihe, ụnụ agawazie n'ihu. Udo dịrị anyị niile.
Hello. On day one, Ahamowo Chisonwadike. I know my mom has taken up all the time. I apologize for that. But one thing that I wanted to say was thank the speaker. I do agree with majority of the things you said, and they were all wonderful. But one of the things that I did pick up a lot that you talked about, and I agree with mostly, is that we definitely need a togetherness in Igbo land. We, as a young person from the Igbo land, I have noticed that Igbo people are always in competition with each other instead of bringing each other together and fighting for a certain cause. I'm where amamihe, but I nature na ikonyan cause on my instead of iwere amamihe ha nwere within ofu table makọta ya ọnụ, then were ya wepụta ihe buru ibu. The fight for Igbo land is not a one-man's fight. A fight for land. The fight, benefit it's for a whole community. And also, to conclude and not take up all the time, it is time for us to involve the youth. We say the youth are leaders of tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is now. And us not putting youth in conversations like this is keeping them in a blind. We don't have history. So our youth don't know the history of Biafra, which is a damn shame. It is time that we start putting youth into conversations like this and get them interested, enthusiastic about the fight for Biafra, because this is what we need. We need our youth to be able to be proud of tomorrow, to go back to a land that they.
All right, my dear, your time is up. We are very serious about our time. We've heard what you said. We do need to include our young ones, and they are here. So you're not the only one, by the way. We have a young guy here, Emmanuel, that is about to give a presentation if we have the time. So we are including the youth. So invite other people, invite your friends, tell them about the upcoming Aladinmma series for the month of April. We want you guys to be involved because we're only fighting for you all. We're not doing this for ourselves. We're fighting for you guys. So let's give our guests some time to address what you've asked. And by the way, ask questions, though we don't want speeches, because we all have speeches. I have one that is hitting me in the heart right now, but that's not what we're here to do. So let's kind of like narrow our thoughts to just questions, and our guests can address it accordingly. So Auntie, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Dalo. So what I'm saying is, Igbo presidency is a sham. I will umaka. Otherwise, I come out to no fuinu. Manakamwenya in a nice way. Emeziandi Kenya. Akowa londi umaka. Oburo ifa na agwa nwanyi mgbe a na-achụ ya ka a na-agwa ya na ọsịsị ya n'ọdịime ka ndobegodi etu a. So Igbo presidency bụ a carrot a na-dangle. How can you have Igbo presidency when you don't have a national assembly that will make the laws that you want? They will impeach you. It is not an executive presidency. It's a presidency that is held in captive by the National Assembly, a National Assembly that is controlled by the Caliphate. So Igbo presidency is a sham. Tony Nadi is right. You should not go that route. An Igbo presidency that will be governed by the military decree 24, the Fulani contraption, or my work. Any Igbo president that tries to show some resilience towards the Igbo will be impeached. So we shouldn't go that route. And we do not want an Igbo president that will go to Sokoto to take orders. We say no. So that's my answer.
Thank you, Auntie. So let me, next person, we have our brother, Seb. Seb, please unmute yourself. Seb, unmute yourself. I'm asking you, ask to unmute. There you go. Okay.
Okay, I think I've succeeded in unmuting myself.
Yes.
Oh, my sister. Ambassador Uche, it's a great pleasure having you here. My questions are many, but let me just take them bit by bit.
Remember, you have 5 minutes.
I have 5 minutes to have it.
That's it. You'll be muted.
5 minutes. 5 minutes are not enough for me to ask my
That's
question.
okay. You finish, you can go back in line. You know, if there's no other person, we can add up. Okay.
I will try and take them just little by little. The only thing I may ask twice, I think that might be better. Madam, I get your passion for our self-determination. You clearly identified with both the works of Barrister Tony Nnadi, LNC, and at the same time, you identified with the Biafran movement. That shows that you're a true Igbo person. You want to have it all, but you are not sure which one will lead us to the promised path. My first question, how do other ethnic nations within the area of Biafra, the Biafra you have in your mind when you are talking about Biafra, how do they liaise with the Biafran agitators like Nnamdi Kanu, whom you mentioned as a person? Is there an agreement amongst them? Is there an agreement amongst them? Then what is the description of the exact map of the territory that you are describing as Biafra? And by extension, the map of the territory which the Igbo should now be seeking as their sovereignty or in their self-determination. So this question of map is very important, ma'am, right? And the question of agreement among the people. You mentioned that there are disparate Biafran restorers, conflicting egos. You identified that such things are very disturbing, right? So what do you see as a superior argument? Do you see as a superior argument the taking down of the illicit constitution, which you have very clearly identified that it is an enslaving mechanism? Do you see that as a superior argument to take that down? Or do you see as a superior argument this armed struggle that our youth are doing under IPOB or whatever, which has led to massacre of our youth in our land? So let me stop here. I have more questions, but let me stop here so far so that we take it bit by bit and other people can ask.
Okay. First of all, there is no agreement between anybody and anybody on what constitutes Biafra. The only agreement for me, if you ask, is the May 1967 agreement, where all the chiefs and leaders of thought of the then Eastern Nigeria came together and put their signatures on the actualization of the declaration of Biafra by Odumegwu. That is the only agreement that had universality as at then and that's at now. After that, the British, who succeeded in encircling the Igbo and advised Gowon to encircle the Igbo under East Central State. And when Nnamdi Azikiwe fled, using him through Port Harcourt to tell the Igbo, the Ikwere Igbo, that they were going to be enslaved by Ojukwu, and turned hostile against the mainland Igbo, because they are Igbo, but they are coastal Igbos and they are mainland Igbos with variants in dialects. So there is no agreement between the Igbo and any ethnic group. What happens is an indices of human behavior. Currently, all the other ethnic groups are sitting on the fence. When they see the Igbo being persecuted, they say, no, we are not Igbo. We don't agree to Biafra. When they see the Igbo winning their point and probably making sense of self-determination, they say, yes, yes, we don't want this Nigeria. We want to extricate. So it is the Igbos that are bearing the brunt, both for themselves and for the minority groups, which is an unfortunate situation, but that is the reality. There is no agreement, and no group will come out openly because they don't want to incur the wrath of the Nigerian state, but they will very willingly tap into the freedom when and if you get it. If today it is said, okay, let us give only the Igbos referendum, let them vote, you will see a lot of people who will come and say, no, we are Igbos. That is human behavior. That's my answer to that. Then I don't know what was the other question. You asked about a map of the kingdom of. You should realize that the term Biafra is beyond territory. The term Biafra denotes emancipation, denotes equity and freedom. There are certain fundamental human values which Biafra has come to represent. So Biafra is beyond a map. If you cross across the Zar River and go to Benue State, you see all those marginalized villages who Benue do not remember are part of Benue State, but who vote APGA because they are Ezza people and Ebonyi State, but are balkanized into Benue. They say they are part of Biafra. You come down to across the Niger, where the Delta says, oh, we are not Biafra, we don't know about this, our Biafra, but we are Igbos. And when you go to meetings in the house of Colonel Achuzia, before he died, you will find a very large group who come for the meetings. You go across to the Soko land, their youth say, they don't want this Nigeria again, they are taking our oil, and we don't see anything for it. We are Biafrans. You go across the Ikwere land, Diobu, when their governor decides to be Igbo, when Atiku was shopping around for a vice presidential candidate, he adds N to his name and he becomes Nwike. And when that PDP aspiration dropped, the N disappears and he becomes Wike. No Igbo person knows the meaning of Wike. So the scenario is that the map of Biafra is oscillating depending on the socio-political stability and direction, how the river flows. But the current of demand is strong. We want Biafra and we want Ali Igbo. It doesn't have to be called Biafra. Biafra is a name that has become synonymous with marginalization and exclusion. Or give us Biafra and tell us to call it Aladinmma or the Igbo nation. We will be very happy. All we want is exit. We want exit from the caliphate, period.
If I may just put in, it looks like you are interchanging Biafra with Igbo now, madam. Isn't that
yes.
Isn't that very dangerous for us?
It is not. It is not dangerous because, like I tell you, you have two strands of leaders. Be very careful the way you categorize. There are two strands of leaders. There are the well-read Igbo, who are talking self-determination, whatever it is. Now there is the low-class touts, or IPOB, who also want exit. So, the low class, not a lower level. Is Jofa, ebe kunu neje, basigi no Biafra. Isikwa ha, una choru nwere onwe, ha sikwa gi na ha choru nwere onwe. So, the leaders has not been able to sufficiently ingrain in the mass followership a synonym for exit that is not Biafra. Biafra has come to represent hope, infrastructure, exit from marginalization. Jam result, double na Biafra. Na amekwe ka ndi Igbo nwete na ame enyefa their score. So Biafra, because of marginalization, underdevelopment, inequity, injustice, has come to represent many things for many people. So when the elite talk of Biafra, they must remember to come to the lower rungs, talk to find what the meaning of Biafra or what they call Biafra. So Biafra has come to be hope. So for me, Alibu, it is it. Biafra, it is it. They want exit from marginalization, from underdevelopment, from oppression, from slavery, from exclusion. We want exit. We want referendum. All of it is Biafra. All of it is Alibu. They mean the same thing. But when you talk to different group of people, depends on your language. Go to Mbuka in Onitsha main market. See how they will talk with you. Go tell them Biafra. They will talk with you. So that's what it is.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
That's interesting. Let me allow another person to ask before I continue with my questions, ma'am. I have many of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful listening to you, ma'am.
Madam, thank you so much. And we can hear from you the passion, and from what you have said, it seemed to me that Biafra is an ideology.
It's an ideal. It's hope.
Okay, but you know that in the international community, that we're not just going to meet them and say, we want Biafra, give us. We're going to follow strategy. We're going to follow process, internationally acceptable protocol. So please, we're asking, what do you think? Because it's like we're talking about so many people. We talk about IPOB, we talk about Nnamdi Kanu, we talk about self-determination, we talk about constitution, we talk about Tony Nnadi. It's like a salad, everything is inside the bowl. But we know we can't work with that type of mix-up. We are asking, what do you mean when you say Biafra? We have asked about territory, because if you go to an international community to say we want Biafra, they'll ask you, what is the map? What is the territory? Who are the people in that Biafra? Have you spoken to them? Have you interacted with them? What did they say? Are they going with you? I don't know if you have any of this strategy that you know of that we can use to get this Biafra you're talking about.
This Aladinmma. Let me switch now. This Aladinmma. Because all we want, whether more Biafra or Aladinmma, a homeland we can come back to. Peace, equity, justice, merit, and development. So, no Biafra that's fine. Abonya Aladinmma Republic, that's also fine. But that our children will not spit on our graves. That's what we want. And that no more Igbo, amane rape anyhow. Have you ever witnessed a victim of rape who cannot cry? You want to see? Next time you ask me to share. So all I'm saying is that Abia na procedure. It was Abia godu. Ekwelu godu ka regional referendum, which is what Tony Nnadi spoke of. Basically, allow godu the indigenous peoples to say where they want to belong and who they are. You are talking big now, they don't have a voice. That's why it is the way it is. When they have a voice, the real people and their ancestral lands will come in. If we have no territory or we have no Biafra, why is there such a push by the Fulani to annex our lands? Why?
Thank you. Thank you very much. But I'll rephrase my question. I was talking about strategy. You know, strategy, you put it on the table. Step 1, step 2, step 3.
Step 1.
Okay.
Anyeje ECOWAS court ask ya na anyị chọọ referendum. And anyị ga-enweta a body that will do it. The LNC, government enyerofa political space. IPOB enyerofa political space. They do the body that will do it. Onya can reconstitution of a body like the Eastern Nigeria House of Chiefs. Or the Ohanese, if they get their acts together, because they represent a people. They ask for referendum, and they represent an indigenous people. Ask for referendum at the ECOWAS court. Even a Nigeria member, so Nigeria will shoot it down. Then the UN, we've done the march, we've done the force majeure. Manu the way governments behave. Because Oburos also amongst people came with racism among nation states. So Obuli Fendiocha for support I am so. Obuli Fendioji for adopt a conservative stance on regime change. Look at how many countries has emerged from Eastern Europe in the 20th and 21st centuries. Over 10 countries. But how many has emerged from Africa? And Balokwa, they will an organization called the Organization for Emergent African States. 7 members: Ambazonia, Biafra, Katanga, Cabinda. Okay, I can't remember all of them. But we secretariat in Washington. Every day, the America intimidate based on their various countries. But I didn't hearing no. Man, I didn't hearing na UN. And I found a secretariat, and they're right there in Washington. So the steps are there, but we lack funding. We lack the money to put it on the agenda. And whenever you go to put these things on the agenda of the UN, Nigeria will go there and make sure that
okay. What I'm hearing, ma'am, is like a lot of ifs and a lot of Nigeria stopping us from doing anything.
Yes.
That means that we cannot have any strategy based on what Nigeria allows or what Nigeria does not allow, because Nigeria will not allow that. Fulanis will not allow us to go. You know,
yes.
What you're saying, you know, Fulanis will not allow us to go back. I'm aware because I asked for strategy, you know, like those talking about Biafra. So it's like a lot of ifs. And if you have if ECOWAS, if this one, if that one, it's going to make us like more confused because we'll keep going round and round and round and doing if in circles. I'm aware there's something called 8 points.
The alternative to if is war.
Okay, like
I'm aware. Sorry. She did not answer my third question. I'm sorry to interrupt. My third question was the mechanism for bringing down the constitution, which she does not like, the way I don't like it either. Because that thing might answer your question eventually. You are asking about strategy.
The mechanism to bring down the constitution is impossible in the present contraption.
Okay.
Because those that benefit from the contraption will not permit that constitution be brought down because they benefit from it. The only way We can do it if we say, like the Amazonians did, all democratically represented persons who say they represent us, step down. Do not go to the National Assembly anymore. And Southern Cameroon completely withdrew from the Cameroonian National Assembly. But can you do that in Nigeria? We will have saboteurs, people that will be bought over. And if all Southeastern parliamentarians were to walk away, would it make a difference in the House? And you want presidency? Well, Nigeria will go on without you. The alternative is war, my dear.
Okay, thank you very much. But like because while we are going back and forth is we have identified that there are many groups, but we have agreed that we will need a strategy. And that strategy will be 1, 2, 3, based on internationally acceptable protocol, because we're not the first to look for a nation. However, the question of the map is number 1, because you look like a joke if you go to any place, whether ECOWAS or any place at all, any international community, and say, I need Biafra, or I need somewhere, I need whatever, because it's like you're interchanging it. If we have not resolved the issue of territory, we will look like people that are playing around. Because in that
resolve it by referenda.
Okay, if I can add a voice toward us.
Sistifi, please, we have somebody else that was already had their hand up. Henry or Gunne, go ahead.
Good evening, all. My name is Henry Oginye. I'm the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. To use my time more efficiently. Yesterday, because to address the issue of strategy first, yesterday, our speaker, I can't remember his name, but our speaker yesterday emphasized the need for a multi-strategy approach. On the instance, South Africa, where I have the ANC, taking what the part I call the Ninas part, another group taking the part where I'm likened to the IPOP. Kenya had the same strategy, where they had the Mau Mau and had other people who are negotiating, again, quote unquote, intellectually. So this idea of strategy, I think we're overplaying it. Seb, my brother, you're an engineer. Engineers don't come up with the finished product. They keep prototyping until they get what they want. Secondly, let me try to address the issue of map. All of us can dispute the map of any African country. All of us can dispute the map of any given African country. This was something that was drawn in Berlin with no consent of any indigenous people. Same for the Nigerian state map. All the maps were drawn first by Gowon to achieve his strategy of weakening Biafra, then redrawn by Motala, then redrawn by IBB, then redrawn by every other person. Ebema, people in Ebema River State worship the gods of Ebema in Imo State. And Vincent Onyama, his people from Akwa Ibom State worship the Abaras in Engwaland. My others I have mentioned is that. So the idea of map can be disputed. Then one of my younger sisters here mentioned this idea that all of us are intelligent, but instead of creatively using our intelligence, we try to compare that to other Igbos. Why not we say respectfully, then let's go your own path, keep working. IPOP go your own path, keep working. Owazike go your own path, keep working. Don't just compete, but keep working. As the Chinese say, it doesn't matter whether it's the black cat or the white cat catches the rat. What matters is that the rat is caught. What does this mean? Our speaker have mentioned various bodies and everything.
Brother Harry, your 5 minutes is almost up. Please round up.
Okay. So what I'm saying that the essence of all these groups will be to get a discussion on the table, to get a negotiation on the table, get everyone to sit down, and then when you sit down, people can talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Henry.
Well, I agree with him. My response is that I agree.
Okay, so I ask another question. We have been doing what he's saying. All these other groups have been on their own working, which is why we are on an Aladinmma table. This Aladinmma table is when we are telling everyone, bring whatever you're doing, because if we continue, everybody's going to their own way, going to their own, we will never reach where we're going.
Yes.
So we have worked on this thing for over 50 years. We've been on this issue for over 50 years. We have fought war. We have done everything, different groups, everything. But we are now on Aladinmma table. So that is why strategy is important, that we decide there are two basic strategies, war or dialogue. And we know that after war, you will come back to the table of dialogue.
Yes.
I'm aware there's a 8-point strategy by Ninas. I don't know if you are aware of that strategy. Have you ever looked at it? Because
yes, we are almost at the end of it.
Okay. Now, what will it take to get everyone to examine that strategy? Because we have tried so many things. We have made noise, we have cried, we have danced, they have killed us, we have run into a bush, we have come out. But we are not getting anywhere because we're going in circles. Because what I say, everyone is in their little corner doing one thing or the other, which is why we're on the table of Aladinmma. We want to begin to put our voices together so that we'll decide. My brother Oguno that mentioned something about South Africa. I'm aware of CODESA. By the time they came together, 90 groups came together in 1990 and they pulled down the constitution. They've been doing many things that they were doing. They did it for 80 years. But as Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo, two lawyers, came into the struggle, they sat down and said, okay, what is the problem? They say it's the constitution. By the time they identified the constitution, they formed CODESA and they worked together and finished it. Like you said, we are in the last phase. What will it take to make our people to come on the table and work together? What will it take, please?
Do you want to know the truth? The truth is that our politicians are our problem. How can we get a dissolution PDP, of APGA, of all the multifarious groups that are registered in INEC, even one-man political, emergency political parties? We all say there will be no election without renegotiating the constitution. You know that once a politician stand down and refuse to hold national primaries, then what Tony Nnadi says will happen. But the truth is that this same caliphate that gained from the status quo will go to the back and pay politicians humongous monies in the night. And then they're going to have a meeting in the afternoon, come the next day and change like chameleons. Nigerians enwero principles, enwero conviction, for the cheap to buy. That is the truth. Agụ erika. So obolo na anyị sị na ya chọrọ ka any political party present their candidates, then there will be no candidate. But try that now. If we're a thief that will jump out at night and become your president by fiat. So, or because of the cheap nature of the people, they were a merit-based society, a highly subjective society. That is why all kinds of animals in the National Assembly and all kinds of places in government. So my work. But the way to go is for the political parties to down tools.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie Obidi. Go ahead with your question. We have no more than 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my sisters. And thank you very much. I came in earlier, but my listening was having a problem. But so far, I have enjoyed everything that I heard from you. And that has been my stand. By the way, my name is Obidi Obieno, and I'm speaking from the Biafra de facto customary government, which was formed right after Nnamdi Kanu was acting up, actually, because we all built, most of us here built IPOB. But when a situation where the leader is not taking instruction, he's the leader, he's the administrator, he's everything, he's the money collector, then there's a problem. There are a few things that you mentioned, and I like the way you answered the question about the boundaries of Biafra and everything, and how you also affirmed that Biafra is an ideology. It's the concept of being a free man. And also, I used to ask people, when you're talking about Igbo nation, already there are people in the West that say they are not Igbo. So this boundary of a thing, it's not really a big deal for me. What is important is just like what you said, to know these boundaries. The government that needs to allow for a referendum, then people will declare what they want. But right now we are kind of in that situation where we are not allowed to do anything, even with anything that we are making proposal of. And that brings to what I wanted to ask, because I'm glad that I'm listening to you, and for whatever reason, I have an inclination that you once served as an ambassador. So you are very vast on this area that you're talking about. I know my limitation, but I do know that all I need is freedom. That's why wherever they talk about freedom, I'm there. Okay, so because we need people that knows this thing. Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned funding, which was what I mentioned yesterday, that sometimes these things are being pushed. There are things we can do, but there's no funding. Even when the 4 people contribute their few monies here and there, one person will swallow it, just like we experienced with the IPOB. One person swallowed the money and started creating problems. Everybody becomes a saboteur. So my question is, how can we put these things together and have people like you and other people, your affiliates, who understands this, to be the voice, to speak out to the hearing of everybody? Because when I heard that somebody Oyibo was brought into IPOB, I thought it was you. I never knew it was a different gang of criminals. Okay, I thought it was you. I was looking everywhere. So that's where I am. The point is that we need somebody like you and your affiliates to come out, and then people can begin to see how we can source this funding. And people need to tell themselves the truth. They should not calling meetings every time. Aladinmma, and everything. And you find out that when you talk about freedom, these people, when you ask them for funding or to make donations to what is going on, they will refuse. They will bring stories.
Brother Bidi, your 5 minutes is up.
Thank you. I think I used 3 minutes, Sister Mona. I'm looking at my time anyway, but I'll let it be.
You have an African time. I have an American time.
No, I'm using American as well. But anyway, this is the Igbo meeting. Thank you so much. So that's
we are all subject to the crisis of leadership and Igbo, or if you whether on IPOB or other groups, with serious crisis of leadership. I am around the web and the Igbo, and how come that every Igbo man, whether from across the Benue or from Abo to Arochukwu or Nsukka to Ahoda, when you call Ojukwu, how come even the person in primary school and the person in secondary school, or the person the market woman who sells oranges, knows who and what he stood for? Because he was sincere, and sincerity knows no language. So sincerity is a language of the heart, and it's a language of the soul. Who is that leader that can sufficiently step into his shoes? That is the question to your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. Simon, are you there?
Yes, Ike, unmute yourself, Ike, so you can ask your question.
All right. Biko ndewonu ndị be anyị ekelele m ọhaneze ndị zara okwu na Aladinmma n'ụbọchị taa na-ewepụtakwa n'elomelo mfụnọ ya enyere anyị aka. Enwere ihe mere m ji chọọ ka m kwuo obere okwu because of ihe ndị a rụtụgasịrị aka n'okwu ndị kwuru okwu kwuru, dịka na-enwere ọtụtụ ndị na-achọ ụzọ nwere onwe a nọ n'ala Igbo taa, mana nsogbu a na-enwe gịnị ịbịakọta ọnụ. Mama anyị kwuru okwu wee sị na ọwụ na ndị Igbo ga-abịakọta ọnụ wee kwere si ndị niile nọ na parliament n'ụlọ lọtagodu first ka a mara otu anyị esi wee kwọrọ onye ukwu wara ka amara ma ijo ya ekwe ọgịga. So ma na-ekwu na ọwụ ihe awụ ihe anyị kwuru hiwe Aladinmma, exactly this thing ka anyị ji hiwe Aladinmma taa, ka eme gịnị ka akpọkọta otu niile dị iche iche, ndị niile dị iche iche, ndị ọnụ na-eru n'okwu na ndị na-aga ije ma ndị na-agba mbọ ma ndị na-arụ ihe a na-arụ iji mee ka gịnị ka e nwere onwe a. Aladinmma is the forum. A ma achọ ka anyị kwuo okwu kwulega ya n'ụzọ a ga-esi wee kpọkọta ndị niile awụ ndị ọ ga-awụ utu a na-agba ọzọ, amụ a na-agba ọzọ, dịka ndị Igbo na-atụ n'elu. Anyị chọrọ ka anyị ncha zukọta ọnụ ebe a, anyị zukọta ọnụ na Aladinmma. Ekwuola okwu ihe banyere IPOB, kwuo okwu ndị like otu nwanne anyị nwoke Obidishi wee kwuo na ya si na customary government, de facto customary government or something like that. Enwere a lot of them. Ndị ke na-aza nzukọ ụmụnna, enwe ndị ke na-aza aka ike nga, enwe ndị na-aza ndị niile awụcha ndị ọ na-awụchi jee n'abalị chi na-azụnye ha ego dịka adanna anyị nnukwu kwuru, enye ha ego ha kwuwezie ihe ọzọ. Otu a na-ekwu okwu ọha na eze kịta, enweta ya esi wee kpọọ oku ka ndị otu niile a zukọta na Aladinmma ka anyị kwuo n'okwu a ofu Igbo ka onwe isi. Ndewo.
Yes, hello. Onwe ife nchọ is emphasized maka CODESA and the Igbo struggle. Unu mana apartheid South Africa, Diego Nigeria nyalofa, and other sovereign countries nyalofa run apartheid secretariat na UN headquarters for 15 years. Nigeria now put salaries of the staff of the UN apartheid secretariat. That was how much we put. Mana today, South Africa, Olotalia, of every day, that's why I earned the press tag, Madam Xenophobia, when we fought in South Africa. And Ifuna, because CODESA will sovereign support, Omefa, weight and was able to push. So far, we're funding a critical component. Opuluguru na individuals ani mwelego mweliki weputa. Mana fade kwe weputa. And if anacho ada abaka achia. So makana CODESA we're funding and sovereign support for the fundamental difference between anyị na nafa. Ibia ife ọzọ dị na bany. Ife ọzọ na ewekwa iwe anyị nwere ike ikwudote na bụ abịa na ọnọdụ Nigeria na outside Nigeria, nya ife dị ka ọnọdụ a na-akpọ embassy. Ifu na ndị jule ebe anwa be very hostile ndị bany. Maka na ọkwa part of the body language of government. Ife selu mụ na mfa at a time n'ebe na-alụ ọlụ. Kedu ife o ji abụ unu bịa sị na unu na-alụ ọlụ na-represent Nigeria, kama a ga-akpọ onye ọbụla Nigeria unu pụọ ịbụkwa diplomat na-represent Nigeria, ịpụọ ise these Igbo boys causing trouble, these Igbo boys worrying. on a fabro Nigerians. Okay, I put some Nafa these Igbo boys. Unquano Messiania possible. That Igbo boys in reality. In my baby saying I represent Oyobona, but that exclude for the more never label. Awareness in all foreign representations Nigerian today. More on the lazy buff, the more on the danger, good treatment. Also, if a sell Muna Abuja, we go one there. Amananka Bako for another day. Unana Jukwa, why you and not that? Mapana will go 6 years in the development down one Abuja. Now my visa to Abuja has expired.
Wow.
So if I well know that if I before Gabo overnight or evening, igu jisbo. Anu magu no obo na Tony Nadi will be go chol. Anyaka gago fa no de side ya. Obolo kwa na mazi will be go chol. Anyaka gago kwa fa no de side ya. Makana etu obi ndị be anyị dị ama anyị ga-anọ n'ụdị ọnọdụ a tigbuo anyị a na-ekwukwa nfa ị na-asị welu nwayọ ka ekwue asị ka ekwue gịnị so ife a n'idile ego and obodo anyị na-achị isi na ya bụ ji ego wee na-eme sure na ya bụ ife anyị nwetara ya at all for anyị bịalụ eje ebe a je frustrate ya.
Thank you.
What will be a critical factor?
Thank you, ma'am. Now, okay, before you find it, I just want to quick add, we know that we are back to square one in the sense that if you don't have a clear strategy, a clear plan, according to international acceptable protocol, nobody will actually fund you in the way that we're saying. So that's why this thing we are saying and what we're doing on Aladinmma is very crucial, because for us to attract the type of funding we need, we must show a clear pathway where we are going. That's the destination, the vehicle, and then the route. It must be clear in our minds.
Fulfill all the international steps. Okay. Fulfill. In terms of paper, fulfill it. Yeah. So no, you will paperwork, wage to the UN. Where we have done this. I have passed to get exam. Mana, and well a lot of brigandry na the Committee of Nations. Oh yeah, Nigeria DJ, we molo nandi na Kenya, breach international law. What there on. That is why, after if any now, any be an element of Sahara reporters, Nona advocates, exactly. Okay, Sahara reporters.
Element of revolution or what?
Without that, join Tony. That is show na advocate. Obia make sure now what was the political party equal or present their candidate. Governor be present candidate as no. Mana in my friend in Nigeria name. Guess ya ife okay Lagos. About Jagaban of Lagos. In my vote we bido campaign. We bido rogo tego. Maram no Burkina Faso. Maram obodoje go te beans. More than 1 million bags of beans. Do mad well line ya up. Line up. KWKB si America Onitsha Luaba eba na ebunye beans ifugo ife Stalin kwu onwe mgbe Stalin gwa his audience how to control people osha iweta ọkụkọ itupusia the feathers amara m na that is a famous adage.
Yes we do.
A live chicken itupusia the feathers, the chicken ga na ebekwa akwa o. It took the feathers and the chicken cut their lives. Took all the feathers or the naked, and the chicken will surely die. Manena poliani. No gana to Lunya, so not to Pulia defenders or fine agenda Nigerians. They impoverish us, they steal our commonwealth, and then they make us back.
So we need a strong strategy to finish the work.
Paperwork are go complete. Any is a people action and a little bit of show. Maka power is never given. It is always taken. All through history. It's never given.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam. I know, Auntie, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation and, to educate us on some of the things that, some of us are not aware of. But one thing that the topic and kind of strategy. So we are trying to we need to get a clear way of and then a comparison whatever because very dangerous at this point in time. Because here in our chalk at the end of this series, I now come more up with a superior argument. See, okay, I atubachala he needed each and those on a men I the way get the viable, get the likable. If Brani get by because I am not going to be learning all and human monkeys and baboons.
Yes.
You can So here I thought I get see what I chop those I get cigarette by naga, for the sake of our children, like in Nepene and ball. So Kai Pusizin at boss or because some of this are now by Abaquala Neba, who know where he make an hour or the band. I teacher leg for the robbery self. I now bought on a building, 25-story building on our downtown. Eba na chock I here. So I now, if I please hold on. I now balambo, may him down. Who know when he make an old noise a kind of maker, not on the bany go nail. So ya won't I be a I head them about 2 by high in a bit of power hand, Danya Matagan door, because Happy could record I hide on all and name a horn. Go would high need a horn, pepper like this now. He hear Ellis name and a pepper zola. Kedi pepper and then cause a GMA had o zola ko happy we hear emotional and eating because eating is not a strategy. Ibakwa is not a strategy. Obodiga go Fonya flow to security by themselves without getting other people involved. He get creative with criminality. So can be careful at this point, especially as Mamanda to a female and I gonna labor room. Can you let I hold last so Yabakolabia or Buani say lequeleque. Always hold on your name with their kai to laugh with you when a name. Notice is say see where you go from point A to point B to point Z to point A by Naga. Kagawa no oga kaderanande ba yika bupola hanoku. Hasanya Orlando kure, but yeah, what I yawana yoku what I hide manya on the Ndedre Bibles Hagari rule, look at so English teach, so our language teach. So I actually matebi bonaga so that onwa honyo line out to potable munanya nano from Mundin and Dinna. Kahamara lequest strategy in the Ahuji. And all strategy make sense. Strategy meets the international standard, like you said, not strategy of emotion and eating back on a corner. So to ham no Lubiko, thank you.
Are they possible? Say, okay, all political parties collapse into one political party. Yeah, one single political party. That say, yes, Naligo. That say, we do not want any elections in our territory. International community will take note. Then I say, you cannot foist a leader on us because we did not participate in that election, because we no longer agree. That is here Nigeria needed. Here the LNC needed. Manakedego ageji mayor, so that in the politicians are without babins, and we without our rights. Because nothing matter gold. maka ife ndị efi a na-achị anyị melobo make sure na agụụ dị n'obodo. They follow the strategy of Stalin. So make sure na agụụ dị n'obodo. So anything a na-ekwu ike ego ndị aha arapụghị mgbafere je na-alụgodo ego. So anyị nwere ike isi okay, anyị achọrọ any political party. Nobody votes for anybody. You don't want PDP, NPC, whatever. No political party is allowed. No primaries. Okay, ụmụnwanne anyị ndị na-agụ ala ngwa anyị achọrọ ka onye ọbụla mee primaries. Ụmụnwanne anyị ndị na-asụ oyibo ngwa anyị achọrọ ka onye ọbụla mee primaries. Ndị nọ na redio na-ekwu, ndị nọ na moto park na-aba. Mana anybody I follow raise the banner of any political party, if of law, well, that is if I need.
That sounds like a strategy.
No political party is allowed to campaign for anything, for no candidate, nothing, whether more House of Assembly or local government or National Assembly, anything, nothing. We don't want any elections in our territory. Then when you don't hold the elections, you are not bound by the product of that election.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So thank you, Auntie.
And again, I've a deal. Auntie
imagine I gauge the kuno one. Ha ji anyị ji kpuchi anyị ike anyị eriri anyị na-achọ ugbo ụta ga-esi were tọpụ eriri anyị eji were kede anya
otu a na ha achọ ibido campaign now akpọkwa ndị isi anyị ahụ onye ọbụla macha ha ma ndị nọ na National Assembly ma State Assembly ma governors anyị sị anyị achọkwa ha election. No political party should campaign. INEC offices onye mekpa ma ya gba INEC office. So we are not subject to that election, and you are this specific in our targets. We bring down all INEC offices. We don't want election, period. And we refuse to be bound by elections produced by the contract Decree 24. So if all INEC offices, for instance, every INEC office within the territory, no political, even chairman of this political party or chairman that it was a mass movement that is opposing any form of emergence of any political party, no matter the party, whether I'm a PCO or YPM. No election holds in the territory.
Mom, if I'm not in a that's against all odds.
Hello?
Against all odds, we must stop election.
Hello?
Yes.
Against all odds. You also see me, I want to Maya Kahango, Muna again sleeping tablet, Kala Hotetola after 2 years. I want to again have Maya watcher, Kala Hola, Tetazi after next year. What I had to go to La Hola and the party because I have done an election Haneme, Buhawa Kone benefits.
Hello?
Yes. Kai said to law, so good in our near. Then after that. It sounds like a strategy. Sounds like
hello. Please allow him to speak.
Okay, asị ya chere anti na-aza ajụjụ ihe kwuru ka ekwucha ya kwuo anyị ma na ọ nọ ya kwa anyị nọ n'ebe a na-eme ihe nọ na ya Ifeanyị biko nwee ndidi ka anti zacha ihe ajụjụ ajụrụ ya anyị abịa that we are getting somewhere, please.
Because part of speaking is also listening to hear what the other person is saying. But we will have to listen. I can listen to ourselves. We are getting somewhere. Even at this meeting is coming out with something. Because I'm alone, but we must come together. We're seeing the quote twice say, okay, because go ahead, Samona.
All right, Ifeanyi, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, they want one. I think finally you will allow me to say something this night. Yes, asking Kube, Ajuju Kamcherejo and the come to go on no. I think we are using a wrong approach for the freedom fighter I know natural sense. More based in Port Harcourt. And in Port Harcourt, there more one. I think in move around to the other coastal areas and the crossing rivers and the Delta State and also Biafra. So here more resisting battle about them still Ali battle about the men heartland of Igbo land battle about that. Only him observe that ndị obodo achọghị iji anya afụ ndị Igbo. Isi ha iwe onye Igbo na gị na ha ga-anọ na one country. Akụgbu oge nwụọ. They will not. I mean, the thing may go. Some of us, before you mention what the name Biafra here, na Port Harcourt, you got hide in under carpet before they mention one. So a lot of people use that approach for long. This approach, we are using other name, maybe Igbo nation. Naga. By now, the force we are using to, I mean, for the Biafra, the pressure we are using the name Biafra. And when you mention Biafra, he includes all those people not mentioned that even hate the Igbo, even hate the Biafra you mentioned. So now we are using a wrong approach for all those years we are agitating. That is number one. Then, question is, can Igbo nation be achievable? And we can achieve Igbo nation. That is number two. Then number three, Aladinmma, I don't know use for now. This is the first time. It's the first time in the Igbo put a platform. In the Igbo ni lega bakatono video discourse the way out. I think I would tackle him now, but the question is, can Igbo nation can you achieve? Can it be achievable? Thank you.
Yes, it is achievable. Onwere onye si na na-eme achieve in one day. Nationhood na bifa na achieve over time. Ọ na-abụ consistency, resilience, and effort. But even mabuna, na part of the years of agitation. It's in okay, we can run the Nigerian state. If I'm not to a Nigeria data or the nya, I said on an impact. So a gradual process. And we can get it in Nigerian state eventually, Ogasa, so if I game, you could show now under the process outlined by the LNC in terms of the legal procedures for the emergence of nations, follow go through in the sovereign dispute, the constitutional force majeure, the freedom pact declarations, all those steps are messy. If I need is a get up non-participation in the election, prove our rejection of the document. If we do not participate in the election, then how do you govern us? So I see that we don't vote at all in any elections. Nothing emerges. And if we don't vote and no governor emerges and no state assembly or no political office emerges, it system crumbles. That was what happened in Ambazonia when they said no political representation, zero. Cameroon could not govern. However, with Asia governors from Yaoundé, and the situation, law and order broke down. And that's why the international community is listening to them. They sent the president of Chile to mediate and all that. Because Paul Biya would not show governance and representational presence in Ambazonia. Because all politicians stepped down. Their seats in the Cameroonian parliament remained vacant. And we achieved that. Happily during Nigeria. Enya rice and always sardine na tomato and I will take idea. It will take one idea. Shameless shame. Only Kuleba say, oh, Doesn't matter whether it is a white cat or a black cat that catches the rat. But the important thing is that the rat is caught. All INEC offices from state to local government levels shut down. No elections. No political party puts forward a candidate. If the system will shut down, constitutionally, shut down. It will force referendum, straight. Then the Kuzi na Fachoro, the Cholo na Yamalu, the Achoro safe, the Chokwaino, Vanobe.
Thank you, man. Thank you. In summary, I'll summarize. Now, and we have been doing this for years. We have been on this struggle for years. We didn't just start it 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 17 years ago. It's been on for years. And the madu but from your point of view, Nandi LNC, that their legal work, the legal paper and strategies, Haji, look are the superior to Iheni Ndi Ozoneme. And we are in the final phase of that strategy. NIFOF was able to shut down the electoral process in the Nigeria because Amanji constitution in the Fulani, na Chindibu. Amanji election even with an election in the Fulani, we're not Chindibu. So I need to shut here down. Somebody Ike Chukwu in the or say NIFI is able to stop and ban sharing of money and food by politicians na Nibo. Does it sound like what you like?
Yes, or the quafu possible. 1 year ke liro ni ututu. Ina ada share tomato. Man not possible. Makana during Abga, a woman that Obia not gave 1 million more, who in the polling booth queue about kune vote the APC ne kego or simiame we gundia osa we galvanize ya the other women pancha we reject ya the APC money. Undo APC was sharing more than Abga. They refused and they voted up. So the woman was who started the rebellion and shouted, if a woman in a town as remote as a Benebe, in all kind of local government, has the political resilience to do that, and immediately mass campaign, he galvanized on the buying banners in ego, and the first say no to all form of elections. And the new candidate, it is doable. If it happened under Abga, can be done. Again, a lot of challenges. Makana go really, people very impoverished. Now because of incursions in the Nachi and the mother they just your lubo. So nani bia galon rinne no de kwesingota when a lot of restiveness in the agricultural sector. Makana ndi Igbo unu ga-elota na from unu pelumpe una funugo onye Igbo na-ayo ego na all Igbo cities na-ayo ego bụ ndị bịala abịa mana kịta Igbo ebidogo yoba ego because na fada ejezi ugbo fada ejenwuzi ịkọta ebe a na-eri. So most of the people erendalo landless by annexation of their lands migrate to the cities, join the hoodlums in the Nayego. Manobolo na aga restore the peace and sanity of agricultural farmlands and the Madumiki Nachiga to their farms and forests. If you get change. So honorable, sometimes you do something to get something. So I need the address. How can the bany safely return to their farms and address the problem of food? Then how can the ban be made not to accept the easy money of the politician? Akowalufa na obalulu na mmadụ nyalone a bag of rice or nyalone 10,000 naira. Zuluzie go agejelu road na even for the next 4 years. If Abga was able to do that in Anambra and win, in spite of Diego ACP, then it is doable. I know it requires consensus. Yes.
Right, thank you. Guys, let's make it snappy. We are approaching our time limits. Brother Bidi, just a question, and then Seb and Tony, so we can call it a day. Thank you, Auntie. You're doing such a wonderful job. It's just that we want to be consistent with what we are saying to our people and the clear strategy on the table on how we need to move forward. So I happy there's such a thing called superior argument. I was in elementary school. So we are serious about this as if we know it's life and death. We can no longer afford to we need to stand on one proposition and stand on it strong and move. But so make it snappy so that we can get Seb and
yeah, real quick. And where we've and now because most of the thing only for strategies, but it boils down again to funding. So what I will bring to this platform today is how can we get a census for, because I need to do something now. 23 is right here. If we want to stop that election, it doesn't come from sharing something on the WhatsApp. We need a strong media that will get to our people. We did it before, Mona, you know that. Right. Okay, we need media that talks to our people. Let's get a count of people who are supporting this project. Let's start from somewhere. Because to stopping these people, when they're not potential governor or whatever, it comes from media. It doesn't come from Facebook. We need to get this message back home. So let's do a count. Aladinmma should begin to identify people that wants to help. And let's begin to pick people one after the other. You know, all these things are money. Money. It requires money. So let's begin to get counts, first of all. And then we can, in the midst of those people, I go on, I apparently I just see go where we be action. Because you need a little one, the IPOB name, and they 10. What if it's another group that says you are not going to hold the election? Okay, so, but they need money to do that.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If I'm going to advise Aladinmma quickly, as urgently as possible, email a meeting of all media representatives. So some the journalists and the radio, they are known. The media houses, they ban. We kafa and with this kind of round table, the media specific. Kafa don't sing about the language and actual election. At all levels, and actual election, whether on news, radio, social media, the video could be an actual elections. They don't know Messi and Kendi media, upon Kendi Oka, whether more pastor, more Pentecostal, more the bishop, more the Catholic, more CMS, more the Omenan, my actual election. The meetings of their spokespersons and representatives who will go and pass around the message. So the next Aladinmma lecture series, a media series. After that, religious leaders series. I will sing about the language, my actual election. And then Amaluzia, just like this meeting is throwing up strategies. Someone get throw up strategies. How to stop some of these greedy politicians in their tracks.
Thank you. Auntie, that's a wonderful one. We are going home, and what was they say, man? Don't let this little meeting that we are having confuse you. When you do your best, God will do the rest. Yes. So this is it. We are going places. Sir, go ahead and ask your quick question so that we can end the series. Auntie has been drinking all her water, 7 cups, 7 bottles.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mommy Ambassador.
Yeah, hello.
Well, some just direct question, just in like yes or no. In my idea, and Sobundi LNC nwere the Lower Niger Congress. In idea nsogbu fanwere with the Otundi Biafra some time ago on the ground. The ban of try gather umaka. Just yes or no, mommy?
Yes, some years back.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Some years back.
Mommy,
Yes.
in idea about the
okay.
Thank you very much. In idea about the 8-point objective issues. Mere na ndị LNC na enwe nsogbu irreconcile with ndị otu ndị Biafra ịnafọ ịkpọrọfa fatata. You nwere idea, mommy?
But madam, the 8-point agenda sell the
okay.
LNC and the Biafra. Mano will leave and go home. They can't go nadi anọkata ọdọ eyezi m ọnụ owelu m ezigbo iwe si na mụ dị pro Nnamdi Kanu na onwe mụ na ya dị mma mụ na Udechukwu iwu agụ Biafra government dị mma mụ na all the asimfa. I am married to the cause.
Your network. Orica network ambassador.
Nigerian network.
Orica network ambassador.
Right. So.
Okay. So while she's reconnecting, let me use the opportunity. Can go through the 8 points because this is very important. Aladinmma kita abuka abukota ndi banyi ono. Kedi ife mere na ndi otu LNC. Kedi ife mere na fa na ndi otu
ife no bo si jebe
Abia all together. First of all, we talk about 8 points. 1, the exact map of Biafra being restored. All the very important because Obolona na yenwero map. The diplomats, the UN ama talk to us. And Obro map, something 1980. No. All map equal to the people. Negotiate here with the people. Today, Obro map the caliphate draw 1967. No, all map. Anyị ndị Igbo na ndị neighbors anyị negotiate among themselves. Ndị LNC nwere such a map. Ndị ọzọ enwere ya.
Brother Seb, thank you.
Number 2, consensus. Pardon?
Brother Seb, so you know that we've come to an understanding now, right? Because she was going back and forth, and we're saying that we need a superior argument,
Yes.
So I don't know if we are okay now because see how and she's back towards the last minute to start rehearsing the 8-point strategy. Can you post it? Do you have a way to post it on the chat so that before we at least take a look? Only for her to finish because from, in summary, him what I heard here now because all that now here LNC name ya na akwụkwọ international community meet standard okwu agwụgo.
Okay.
And we have for number 1 ka anyị gawa ebe anyị na-aga n'ọkwa ihe part of that election to stop the election. So I know it's not the same page now. So I don't know what the necessary way be large back.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right, yes. My sister. And we are more or less with her now on the same page. And depending
on adopt certain strategies. By having Aladinmma lecture series for religious, Aladinmma lecture series for media, Aladinmma lecture series for the lower rung people. Market leaders, all the market leaders are nnukwu afia dị na Igbo ama Aladinmma market series for Nnewi, main market, area market, this famous something now. Aladinmma market, Abakaliki, Aladinmma, all the market leaders are concentrated here. They are men and women. So every month, time every 2 weeks. It will reach a segmented series where we keep no elections. Always spread out wide. So, or the sectoral, it reaches all angles. When ADF under Aladinmma Conference started to preach Akureulo, Unartiesina investments outside Igbo land, gradually, people began to bring investments home. It is now catching on. And the moment the Igbo stopped investing in Abuja, the artificial prices of property in Abuja dropped. Because in the body it is because of the Igbo, the engine that drives the economy. So that is what Aladinmma needs to do to identify the sectors, baga channels, these meetings. This meeting, or Sunday now Igbo, one Monday now pidgin English, then the head of the market lines, the world famous strong bridgehead pharmaceutical market, the president of the market. That is the voting base of ABGA. Then the chairman of the main markets. That is the voting base of ABGA. Church chairman 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 Koha. So kuno na hangwe mitina. Again at the various market lines. Ko na yame the election. Na yama to the vote. Unengwe the same thing. How did Uche Okunife win her election? Win Victor in the ABGA base? She used parish priests and pastors. She went to every parish, campaigned with every parish priest and every pastor and every Pentecostal church. And she won. So do the same thing.
Thank you, Auntie. That's a good one.
Nobody said it's easy, but it's doable.
Yes, that is a good one. That's going to the grassroots. So thank you for that noble advice. We will definitely take on the proposition and gather these people, because we just want freedom. Look at my brother Obi. That guy is willing to sell his kidneys just to give his people freedom. So that we just want to get this right. So to see where make or them what I had and any strategy and I check on any strategy was strategy. Because so much and this and I just I can't tell me strategy more am I hearing my crying. No, we are going to account is not a strategy. Ibapa is not a strategy. Crying on Facebook is not a strategy. We want a clear strategy that makes sense. Like we have identified so far, one has to meet the international standard. One has to say that it's almost at the end because we don't want this 2023 election to bypass us. So we are getting somewhere. So Auntie, we are so grateful for your time. We appreciate you for the knowledge. That's why when mother and our guest yesterday, no maybe and drag, take them along and we reason together and come to a consensus. So thank you so much for this evening's presentation.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we are 3 hours after we know what time and so that we'll let you go. Sister P, your final words, and Brother Tony, we see your final words so that we can.
I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much.
You found me worthy to talk to you. Thank you.
No, we love you, Auntie. Well done. Well done. Tony, go ahead. Sister P is not ready. Oh, Sister P, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Ndibai, from what is going on today, we can see a lot of shifting grounds. That happens and is expected when we sit down and talk. That's why we are equal. I meet you in the middle. Malona asina that means
yes.
I agree. Fulani.
Yes.
So we are not doing anybody any favor if we don't agree as siblings and as someone. And the only way we can agree is to talk to one another. Bring all the things we say we want to do together on the table, get our destination, get our vehicle and our route, and then period. So we thank you so much, ma'am. We appreciate you, like everybody's happy, and we plead with you, please, as a mother, to continue the work of bringing us together. Now, not to bring us together into 20 strategies. Since we have said that the superior argument is what LNC and Nina is doing, please let's make the rest of our children to understand it so that we will calm down and then follow where we're going so we can reach home on time. Thank you, audience. Thank you.
One final advice.
Okay, ma'am.
Ina agwa mmadụ okwu, o nwere ka ị ga-esi wee sịa n'ịchafuga na ikeri ọfụma ma n'isi gị na ịrarị ya ara ma na afega na imere ya iron ibulugodo ụzọ ibe isi ya ifega maka ama nọ na iderozi ede kedu ụdị style ịchafuga unlike kwone biko ka anyị tụgharịgodi etu a akwa ijike ikeziri ebe igolu akwa afụkwa m nke red ya advice wee bụrụ ndị anwa a na-egbu na-follow because they don't have the intellectual capacity that you have. Ka esi agwafe okwu abụrụ ịpụta ise na nke a dọrọ mma na ihe a unu na-eme nka na maazị ime nke no abịa sịfa oke anyị achọrọgodu ka a na-egbu unu maka na ife anyị afọ ọkụzi ụmụ nwoke nwa na-atụba nwaanyị ime ma ya fụzie ndị ya amụta nwa ya bụ ndị Igbo ezi ndị ya bụ ndị Igbo tụgboro na-egbusisi ọnụ ọdị ndị Hausa ga-anụ anyị so mudewegodu n'ọgụ ka anyị fụgodu ndị ya anụ anyị o nwere ka esi agwafe okwu and you can still get there so ka unu malụ the narrative change enu narrative unu when you talk to them so that you don't incense them. You must come down to their level, engage them. Or they very important. That is the work of the diplomat.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Because
thank you so very much for that contribution. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, we should let me mute everybody, please, so that I know everybody wants to thank our auntie. Allow everybody to unmute themselves. Auntie can hear from everyone. Auntie, thank you so much. That's why we need our mothers, right? Mana no no here with maybe mama will speak the truth, whether my like grandma I like it. So I don't understanding what put like a one or so money no mona like we ben I. So auntie, thank you so much. Onye deka ge biakwara said it's next time. So sister, your final words so that we can end. Mama, want you to add any quick note before we go? She said, you'll meet yourself. You're talking to yourself. We still can hear you.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, our speaker. Thank you so much, our audience. We appreciate you. You know that we're going to do this. Our mommy suggested every 2 weeks. So it seems we're going to take that because several texts and everything is coming in. So we look forward to 2 weeks' time. It's hard work because we are planning 1 month, but now she has cut it short for us. That's work for us. And this work is going to be for all of us. Everyone here, you're a team member. We will work it together. Join the Aladinmma platform. We have the platform. We have global, is full. Global one is about to get free. For Ndibo inside, we are going to go out for the market women. We know that LNC started this mobilization to get the market people into it and had to suspend it because of some fracas. But now we're understanding ourselves better and we want to go into it to get our people using the technology and everything that we have. Thank you so much, everyone. Please look forward to the flyers, more discussion, more conversation, and we're going to reach a good place. Thank you so much. Bye from me. Love you.
Bye for now. Bye, my people. Brother Ike, you want to play your song? You're talking to yourself, Brother Ike, unmute yourself.
Yeah, you couldn't allow me to share. That's why I was saying share.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking that you wanted Bratonin and Wisi to.
No, he said okay. He said okay.
Oh,
Don't worry.
all right, okay. Then let's see, because we are here together.
I actually like this song though. I'm dancing like Serbia. What like I said we should have bank here yesterday.
Oge